but there was something about them. Mary had a calm, serene expression on her paper-white face, her large, imploring eyes floating above her swimming pool blue robes. Her palms folded demurely across her middle. Jesus, on the other hand, had a sort of intense, burning stare. He held his white-robed arms out to the side in a way that could have been an embrace, or a pantomime of crucifixion, I wasn't sure. I'd never thought about how similar the two looked. I leaned over and plugged them in. The electric glow shot through their translucent skin, and they lit up like fireflies against the dusky room. "You are loved," said Mary. "Probably," said Jesus. "We know you have questions," said Mary, "and we have answers." "But we're not just going to give them away for free," said Jesus. He held out his palms. "Look at the marks where the nails went in." I grimaced. "Come on," said Mary. She shot Jesus a reproachful glance. "We've talked about this." Then she smiled sweetly. "So," she said, "how can we help you today, Cheryl?" "Well," I said, "I guess I'd just like to feel like you're on my side." Mary nodded sympathetically. "I think you're doing a bang-up job," she said, "under the circumstances." She had a slight British accent, like Julie Andrews. "Look," said Jesus, "don't take it the wrong way, what I'm about to say. It's just my personality. But have you considered the lilies of the field? The birds and wild beasts? Do they wonder who's on their side?" He made air quotes. "I don't know," I said. "They don't," he said. I waited for him to say something more, but he didn't. He just stood there with his arms folded, apparently waiting for me to say something. Mary rolled her eyes. I leaned over and unplugged them. Their lights went out, and their faces hardened into frozen masks of cheap, colored plastic. I picked them up, took them out to the car, and drove back to Tony's Catholic Bonanza. "They don't work?" said the young man behind the counter. He had eyes as green as marbles, and black hair neatly parted down the middle. "They work," I said. "That's not the problem. The problem is they're judgmental." He nodded. "Ah, I see," he said. He folded his arms. "A lot of people complain about that." "So, can you take them back?" "No, ma'am." He shook his head. He pointed to a large handwritten sign that said, "No refunds on statues." I sighed. Where do these come from, anyway? Papa's Plastics. It's the only factory located partially inside the Vatican City. What do you mean partially? Half of it is and half of it isn't. Vatican City is very small. They make statues and rosary beads and shovels for burying the dead. Plastic shovels? He shrugged. The soil is very loose in that part of Italy. Anyway, it's all been blessed by the Pope. What do you mean blessed? Does he sprinkle holy water on it or something? No, but his car drives by the factory sometimes and he gives a little wave. He demonstrated by limply raising his hand, then letting it drop. I sighed. Thanks for your help. I picked up the two statues, one under each arm, and headed back out to the car. When I got home, I placed Mary and Jesus in front of the rose bush, which provided a nice color contrast with her blue robes and his white ones. I did not plug them in. Instead, I went into the kitchen and opened the freezer. There was Billie Holiday. She was in a plastic bag, but I could clearly see the shape of her through it. One of her little paws stuck out of the bottom. She had died a month ago, but I still couldn't bring myself to move her. I stood in front of the freezer and looked at her for a while. Then I reached to the left of her stiff body, took out the gin, and closed the door. I filled a glass nearly to the top and